There are two kinds of people, happy people, unhappy people. And it doesn't really matter how much money you have or how much you make. It's about your attitude. So happy money is money that makes you smile when you receive it. And also when you spend it, it brings you joy. On the other hand, 95% of us are living in the flow of unhappy money, which means when we get a check or when we see a online bank account and statement, we feel frustrated. I don't know if I can just pay everything at the end of every month. And also when we spend money, we feel squeezed, frustrated, and sometimes upset, and sometimes depressed. It's because we don't have a good relationship with money.
Welcome back to the Dr. Espen podcast. I'm Espen. Today I am joined by a very special guest, Mr. Ken Honda, all the way from Japan. Ken Honda is a best-selling self-development author out of Japan. If you have not heard about Ken Honda or read the book Happy Money, you must have been living under a rock somewhere. So be excited, because today we're going to talk about how to unpack financial mastery, and not just financial mastery, but also how to have a beautiful relationship, a happy, conscious relationship with money. Ken Honda's book, Happy Money, The Japanese Art of Making Peace with Your Money, Simon & Schuster 2019, has created worldwide attention with over 8 million copies sold so far. Ken studied law at Waseda University in Tokyo and entered the Japanese workforce as a consultant and investor. His expertise is phenomenal. He owns and runs an accounting company, a management consulting firm, venture capital corporation, and the list goes on and on and on. Ken actually became the first person out of Japan to be voted into the Transformational Leadership Council for his work in the personal and professional development space. He's fluent in English, Japanese, Spanish. He used to live in Boston, Massachusetts, and now currently resides and coming to us live today from Tokyo, Japan. Again, Ken, thank you so much for taking the time. How are you this morning?
Thank you so much, Espen. I'm so honored to be here. Australia is one of my favorite countries, and I always wanted to go there. Last year, finally, I went there after 50 years of my dream. My came true last year.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we'd love to have you back anytime. Absolutely come. And if you do, hopefully we'll be able to see you on the stage or see something of you in person as well. But today, I really want to pick your brain, buddy, because what you've written in terms of Happy Money, I've read the book twice. I've listened to the audiobook. Oh, it's phenomenal. And I think this is really important in today's society, because I think a lot of people, from my experience with my patients and students, they still, even though they have enough money to live, to survive, put a roof over their head, there still seems to be a massive stressful factor or a fearful energy around money for many people, not for everybody, but for many people. So I want to start with the first question, Ken. What's the difference between happy money and unhappy money?
So I found that there are two kinds of people, happy people and unhappy people. And it doesn't really matter how much money you have or how much you make. It's about your attitude. So happy money is money that makes you smile when you receive it. And also when you spend it, it brings you joy. On the other hand, 95% of us are living in the flow of unhappy money, which means when we get a check or when we see a online bank account and statement, we feel frustrated. I don't know if I can just pay everything at the end of every month. And also when we spend money, we feel squeezed, frustrated, and sometimes upset, and sometimes depressed. It's because we don't have a good relationship with money. So if you're having a beautiful relationship, healthy relationship, peaceful relationship, your money is happy money.
This makes a lot of sense. Now, how would one know? Is it the feeling that you can sense if you have a beautiful relationship with money, happy or unhappy? How would one know?
So I always tell people, ask people this question. If money was a person, what would it be? If you think of a friendly person, very kind, open-hearted, then your money is happy money. And if you think money could be cold, like a silk hat with assassin, type of person, or mean, and then your money is unhappy. It's just your attitude. So when you think of money, does it make you feel warm, happy, open, or you feel squeezed? The money is neutral, but it's your attitude toward money that makes a
Mm.
difference.
This makes a lot of sense. And so for the listeners and viewers out there now, perhaps take this opportunity to define in your own mind how you feel around money. Do you feel like it's a beautiful, conscious, loving relationship, an abundant type relationship? Or do you feel like it is, as Ken said, squeezed and challenging? And from there, we can begin the journey to go from wherever we are into more happy money. And part of what I share in my curriculums, Ken, and I'd love your opinion on this, is has a lot to do with what's called the imprint period. From the age of 1 to 7, when we're young, we learn from our parents. We basically form our beliefs, our thoughts, our emotions, and what we see and experience of reality. And I know from my perspective, telling my own story quickly, my mother and father were both not very happy in regards to money. And it was always scarce, and it was always a challenge or lack thereof, lack of money. And then what happened when I got into my early 20s, working really, really hard, being very good at what I did, but I ended up being $147,000 in debt. And it wasn't until many years later that I realized that it wasn't for a lack of effort. It wasn't for a lack of skills. It was because the energy inside of me, or the programming inside of me, was that of money equals scarcity and contraction rather than love and abundance. What are your thoughts on how we're raised, and what role that might play in our current relationship to money?
Yes, it's always anything, if it's friendship, if your parents have a lot of friends, you think having a lot of friends is a normal thing. If your parents have no friends, and if, like my family, they never invited their friends over at their house. But my family, lots of people on a dinner table. So having lots of friends was normal in that house. A lot of your parents' friends are normal. The same thing. If you have a lot of money, happy money, it's natural for you to think like having a lots of money in your house is normal. So your upbringing is very important, but that doesn't set your destiny, because you can always change it by changing your attitude toward money. And then if you start thinking after you're 20, you have to be responsible and accountable for your beliefs. If money was bad, in your opinion, but that's your childhood memory, you can override it. And money can be happy, money can be friendly, and then you can have lots of happy money in your house.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I managed to do. I think this was 7+ years ago when I broke out of that, mental prison, and I started becoming abundant, became, yeah, it's great.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Became officially a millionaire at 33, and so on and so forth. And the reason why I speak to this, I think for me is really important, is I didn't realize that I was in a relationship, an unhappy relationship with money. And like I said, it wasn't for a lack of skill and hard work. And I think this kind of segues well into the next question, Ken. I'd love to know, because in your book also you talk about how sometimes even wealthy people are in a unhappy relationship with money. So it's not just the amount of money, but it's also their relationship to it. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So, like climbing a mountain, you can climb your mountain alone. You can climb a mountain with your friends. And in African saying, one of my favorite is, if you want to go fast, you should go alone.
Mm.
If you want to go further distance, you should go with your friends. So same thing applies. If you want to make money in a happy way, you can. If you want to make money in a hostile way, you can too. It's up to you. And if you can choose it, why do you do it the hard way? Why do you do it a frustrating way? Why do you do it in a cold, unkind way? You can make a lot of money by doing what you love and by doing good to the society and like clients and customers, and then receive money. Or you can take advantage of old people, for example, or you can take advantage of other people, and then you can make money. And the money is neutral, so we kind of hope good people wins, but it's not like that. Oh, what's that? Oh, we'll do this.
That's awesome.
So when money comes in, that means that they did something. So as a result, the money comes in. So please remember, you have a choice. Either way, you can be wealthy.
Absolutely agree. Okay, so second point, we can make a decision and a choice, and we can go from where we are into more abundance and a better relationship with money. So I want to talk about this myth of scarcity. I've read about this. You've spoken about this. What is this myth of scarcity? Why do you think so many people are conditioned to live in scarcity when we know that money, literally, like energy, is limitless?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a good point because it's like a piece of cake. When we cut a piece of cake and then eat a piece of cake for myself, somebody else will eat less. That's the idea. But when you think of it, when you take a look at the economy, it's not how we function. Think of a society where we spend $50. We make $50 and we spend $50. Everybody does that.
Mhm.
And think about it, when we make $5,000 every month and then spend $5,000, which society, is more abundant? Of course, more money we make and more money we spend, that is the volume of the economy. So the more we make, more we spend, as a whole, we are prosperous financially. But somehow, when we spend money, we feel like our bank account will be less. So we feel choked that, oh my God, I have less money in the bank account. But think about it this way. If you just spend, say, $10 or 10 euros, and then exchange for this beautiful glass, your money is less, but you gain something because we always exchange money with something.
Mhm.
That means that we got something. We got electricity, we got internet service, we got a massage or clothes, whatever that is. We exchange our money with something. That means that there's a fair exchange. So we didn't lose anything, but we feel like we lost something. So that is like a misconception. So we have misunderstood so many things around money. That's why I feel the more we spend, the less we have. In fact, the more we spend, the more wealthy we become. Because think
Mhm.
about it, with the money, we gain something. So once we got this idea, once we realize that spending money in a happy way is the shortcut for your abundance and happiness, and then you realize that living in this cold, suffocating world is just it just comes from your scarcity mindset, and then the world doesn't function that way.
I agree. This is interesting. So where do we start? Do we have to decide to see the world and ourselves as abundance, as limitless? How does one go through these steps of recognizing wherever there might be listeners and viewers right now? Okay, good. I've got this relationship with money. It's scarce, or it's, mediocre, or it's abundant. How does one go? What are the steps to now start to become more conscious around money, and experience money as something happy and beautiful?
So it's the first step would be arigato your money. When you receive money, thank
Nice.
the money coming in. And if when you spend money, thank the money for staying with you. And then you can say bye bye, goodbye money, see you soon. Hope you bring back your friends when you come
Yes, this is
back.
exactly what I say. Please come back and bring all of your friends.
Yes. And then if your attitude is like that, you kind of wait, it's like your friends, best friends, come out of a town far away, and then you spend a very good quality time and had so much fun. And then when you just say goodbye, come back soon. And then you have such a warm feeling. It's kind of a little bitter, sad, but more happy feeling to just see your friends off. And then when your friends are coming back, opening both arms and just say, hey, come back. And then you enjoy. So if your attitude is like that, you think money is fun, because for a lot of people, money is a scary assassin or bad people. So if you let the person stay in your house, it could hurt you, because that's the experience we had.
Uh-huh. Wow, that's big. I just had a realization then for those people potentially out there thinking, feeling that money is scarce or not good or challenging or creating fear, having that money then as a friend in your house would not feel safe. That's a big one. Okay. Okay. So now we've got the idea of who we are. We understand that money is limitless. We understand that we can live in a beautiful, happy relationship with money. We can see money as a long lost friend, invite him or her in, and so on and so forth. How do we then segment from, let's say that we are getting better at the psychology part, and then we move into the whole investment part. I know you've been an investor for many years. What are some of the tools and tricks that someone can begin to have money work for them rather than them working, particularly from a scarcity mindset, for money?
I realized that wealthy people get paid so many times. For example, 20 years ago, I wrote national bestseller. I sold about 2 million copies, and it still prints about 40 to 60,000 copies a year. So that means like I wrote it when I was 34 or 5. So it's like 22 years ago.
Mm.
Young Ken Honda, my brother, is still sending me money. And also I wrote a book 10 years ago that's still selling. That means like my 10-year younger me, my little brother, is still sending me money. So I have like 20 brothers who are still working with me financially.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people get paid only once. If you work for a company and if you spend a month, you get paid at the end of every month. And if you're self-employed people, you work and then send an invoice and then you get paid the next month probably. So you get only paid once. So if you know how you have money work for you, like buying a real estate or stock, you get a dividend, you get rent, that way, without you physically working, you get money. So wealthy people do a few things, like you get paid from the past, and also you get paid from the something that you own. So in other words, you're not solo. You have like 4 or 5 or sometimes 10 different people working for yourself. So if wealthy people have a totally different mindset, but if you're just working alone and working a single income, even though you make a lot of money, your expense will be high. So at the end of every month, you feel cringed because the more you make, the more you spend. That's a law because you have a better car, better house, better clothes, better cosmetic, better anything, for guys, probably like a better fun gadgets, golf, the sticks are more expensive, it can be like a few $100s, but could be like a few $1,000s, right? And if you go on more and more, if you want more quality, you have a titanium one, you have a gold-plated one, and the price is limitless. So, and then you want to have a helicopter, you want to have a private jet, the list goes on. So you have to really understand when is enough, how much is enough. Otherwise, you'll be lost in this game.
Okay, this is good. I remember this as well from reading some of your work. What is enough? When is it enough? And I think this is kind of an interesting question because if we do not define how much we want or what we're wanting to create, we will be on an endless loop of feeling like we don't have enough. So this really resonates with me. You talked about different streams of income. You wrote several books in the past. They're paying you dividends or revenue now. When we look at this in terms of having multiple streams of income, I know this is a really big thing. This was huge for me. I had one stream of income. I recognized when that job, when I was on holiday, for example, that income dried up. And so I wanted to create multiple streams of income. You mentioned writing books.
Mhm.
Obviously, having investments. You mentioned stocks and bonds, and as you mentioned, real estate. What would be some of the things that you think people could look at in general when it comes to diversifying their portfolio and also potentially and hopefully creating additional streams of income?
Yeah, there are so many different ways, and some people love real estate, some people love stocks, and some people love cryptocurrency. Uh, it's more of your choice. But the thing is, uh, 2024, there could be a big potential turmoil about the financial market. The real estate is going down in China, in Germany, of course, all of Europe, and also parts of US. Now, I don't know much about Australia, but some commercial real estate is hurting internationally. So, and we after the COVID, we just all the governments kept printing more money. So we just put so much money into it. And for example, in North America, because of all the support for people, American people had so much savings, for 2 years, but all the savings run out in October. So that means that U.S. American people, public people, general public are short of cash in November. So for Christmas gift, they are buying everything on credit card. Unfortunately, among young people, uh, credit card default rate is 8%. That means 1 out of 12 young people cannot pay their credit cards, which is serious. So next year, it's going to be very difficult.
Thank you for speaking to that. Ken, you beat me to it. I've been studying financial cycles and seasons for some years. I
Mhm.
made a mistake of not knowing these seasons by, the peak of the economy 2019 coming into 2020. Then we have the pandemic. And then I was caught off guard. I lost a $500,000 in the first 6 months,
Mhm.
probably faster. And I really struggled to recover. I needed to lay off a lot of my staff. Basically, I didn't trim the fat and downsize in the peak of the economy. I didn't arbitrage. I
Mhm.
did what the consumer psychology will do. And
Mhm.
now, having studied these seasons, I'd love to go a little bit deeper in this because I think you're absolutely right. With the quantitative easing that we've seen across the world, the artificial printing of money, the inflation of this bubble, it's my philosophy, my belief that, exactly what you said, there's going to be something really big coming in 2024 in terms of, I mean, if you look at how, and this may be different in Japan, but certainly in many countries, the definition of the word recession has been changed from 2 quarters in the negative to now being something different. So that technically, as far as I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, we are already in a recession, but we haven't called it that yet because I think they're whatever they're doing. So one, what are your thoughts on that? Two, how do we prepare?
So, it's tricky because people with low financial IQ cannot really listen to me. So many years ago, I said, uh, I had a friendly chat, and then he said, "Oh, what did you do?" I bought this car, because I sold this stock, and then uh, I our conversation went off for something else, and then a few weeks later, he just told me, "I bought the same stock that you bought. That's going to be make me a millionaire." No, wait a second. I sold the stock and I made the money. So that
Mm,
means the peak of the stock is my judgment. And then if you buy the stock, even if you have the same thing, you're going to lose money. He ended up losing money. It's sort of my fault because I just told the information for people who don't have financial IQ. So you have to have a high financial IQ to understand what's going on. And also you have to have a high emotional intelligence with money too. Because when I talk about cryptocurrency, people automatically think, okay, I should buy cryptocurrency now. It could be so high, so it could drop down, right? It's like American stocks. American stocks, for me, are at the top of the height, which was like 1929. So when I talk about stocks, that people automatically think they should go in, but maybe it's time to get out. So if you do everything against the general public, you can usually win. So when everybody's buying, you should be getting out. When everybody's selling, you should be coming in. So that would be the law, but it's so too scary to buy when everybody's rushing out, and it's too scary to sell when everybody's buying. But that's a psychology. So you have to understand the very basics, and also usually the professionals make money, and then regular people lose money. And I think this coming potential crash, a lot of professional people will lose money too, because in their lifetime, professional lifetime, they've never seen it. I remember Japan was going into a bubble economy and just crashed down. It happened in my early 20s, so, and I'm in my late 50s. That means if you are a regular guy in America, they've seen all the good side of the bubble. So you don't really know what's like in 1970s, when America was hit by a heavy recession. And also you only know by as history in 1930s, right? Not many people are alive who knows that. My mentor who survived 1930s and 40s have told me like many years ago, like 30, 40 years ago, it was like what it was like. And then my mentor who just successful investor who told me that all those horrible stories that their mentors told them when they were younger. So that means like in their 50s, 1950s and 60s, right? So unless you learn about history, you cannot learn the lesson.
Beautiful. History repeats itself, and human psychology often remains the same. I love what you said here in terms of the psychology of the market, and this is very important. And this is the key, particularly the EQ, the emotional intelligence side of things, because when there's scarcity in the market, right? So you have the three forces: you have fear, indecision, and greed, right? And this that repeats itself. And so then if we look at the markets and we say, okay, good, now the economy is booming, people then get cocky, they go and buy. And they buy when it's expensive because everyone is buying it. It's a so-called good economy. And then the market comes down, their crypto, their asset, their real estate is worth less. So then they sell from scarcity. Now, my understanding and the game that I've been playing, and I call it a game for a reason because, well, it is what it is. And so what I'm doing is the opposite. Like you, I'm unloading when the stocks are high. And I'm liquidating my position and staying liquid to be able to purchase. As I say, the wealthy go on, go shopping when everything's on sale. So what would be some of the tools? And, we're not giving financial advice here, but just from your experience with so many decades in this field, what would be your experience for the average person out there? They're not a hugely wildly successful investor. They've got a decent relationship with money. They've got a job. They've got some assets. How would we now prepare for what is coming mentally, emotionally? And when it does arrive, let's say that, and suddenly you see it on the news or the recession's here and they make it all sensationalized, right? Because it sells when it's fear and whatever. When and if we do hear something like that, what would be some of the tools that you would call upon to be able to be more equilibrated and or handle the situation in a more professional and productive way?
Yeah, there are many things. One is that you don't rely on financial assets because if you're not wealthy, you don't have so much in a bank account. And what you need is rely on invisible assets. I teach more invisible asset than visible asset because buying real estate, doing well in financial market, you need some capital. And if you don't have that, it takes time to build one. So instead, you can focus on invisible asset, which is trust, friendship, and also experience and knowledge. And those things they cannot be taxed, and also it won't be lost in the crash of the market. So I just this is this is sort of a joke, but it has some truth. If you have a friend who let you stay for more than 1 week, and just count how many you have. So if you have more than 50 friends, you can go to your friend number one and ask him to or her to stay for a week. Do that with the second friend with the second week. There are only 50 weeks in a year. So if you just come back to your friend after 50 weeks, hey, it's been a year. How are you? Can I stay with you for a week? And then you can keep going, right? So if you have friends, even though you have no money, you can just still keep going. And a lot of people say, Ken, I don't have 50 friends. So if you have 10 friends who let you stay for a month, it's the same thing. So my
Mm,
point is that you can rely on people and friends and the people who care about you. It's more reliable than money in the bank account. Like this year, Silicon Valley Bank in America,
yeah.
the account is suddenly frozen, and then you cannot withdraw any money. And it's almost like if you have $200,000 or more, we don't give you money back. And then there's a big panic in America. So Biden said, okay, wait a second. I'll promise that I'll return all the money. And then the panic just stopped. But if we didn't, if they didn't do that, it could have been a 1929 once again. There will be a bank run, and that's what's happening in China. So instead of relying on money in a bank account, you should rely on your friends. So it's more important. So just
Mm.
take your friends out for lunch and then become close and just stay in touch with your family. I think it's very important.
Beautiful. And we understand cycles and seasons. There is a summer where cash and the economy is strong, and there is a winter when there's a contraction. Now, it'll happen. It's not like you're going to wake up tomorrow and the sun's not going to come up again. Every single time it happens. And so we know these seasons. And now, listening to this, we can prepare. One of the things that I share with my students is how to be excited about it. Because I know that there's going to be scarcity, certainly if you watch TV and whatever else. And I know that we don't respond very well when we're in a state of fear. So one of the
Mm.
things that I've spoken to for my students is, okay, well, if and when a recession arrives, because cycles and seasons are inevitable, be excited about it, and you are mentally prepared. You're prepared now with, a great relationship with your friends, as you mentioned, the real assets. You will always have enough to eat. And on the other side of things, for me as an investor, as a business person, I'm also with I may say this with love and compassion in my heart for everyone that will go through a difficult time. I'm also very excited because I know that the majority of millionaires and billionaires and companies that have started have also, or maybe not the majority, perhaps let me be specific, a lot of those people and also companies have started during these recessions and these times. What are your thoughts on this being a new beginning and an opportunity for people as well, if and when they prepare and they do the right thing?
So the opportunities and also tough times are come at the same time. So when you're fired, for example, you know, uh, probably a lot of people will be in a shock, like, wow, I lost my job. I lost my steady income. What am I going to do? But when that happens, there's also the equal or more opportunity for you because you can go on your own. Your sky's the limit for your income, so you can start working on your own. So uh, life happens that way. So if you just think of all the tough times for everyone, that means there's a big need for something else. So when uh, when there's a big crash or a big economic financial crisis, there will be also great opportunities for you too. So that's what I've been teaching. You have to find your gifts, improve your skills for the tough times. Because if you have good skills, people skills, and also some skills, we still are going to eat. We still need a massage. We still need a haircut. We still need something. So if you have good skills, you can survive. So just it's always half and half. When a bad time comes, there could be a good time for you too.
Mm. Absolutely. Okay. Well, for those watching and listening, perhaps this could be a moment to write down your strengths, your gifts, your talents. And if such a contraction of the economy is to occur, or we know that it is, but we don't know when, we've got a pretty good idea. I think 24, 25, as you mentioned, Ken, is certainly right on the radar for such a thing. But if and when it does occur, and we have taken the moment to one, prepare, to not respond emotionally. As I say, don't go and sell all your crypto and your stocks when it's worth less than you purchased it, unless you have to liquidate to pay, bills or whatever. Try and be smart about it. Try and look at it from the aspect of, the investor, which is intelligent, equilibrated, and non-emotional. I think this is a really important point. Like, don't make decisions based on emotions, at least not emotions that are coming from scarcity and fear, because that, as you know, when you're highly emotional, you don't always respond in the way you'd like. So that's, I think, one thing to take into consideration. But I'm also interested now, if we then take this moment, perhaps even pause right now, and write down your gifts, your skills, your talents, and how you could add value. And this is, the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. And the more value you can offer to the marketplace, the more you'll get in return. So if we take this moment, Ken, and listeners and viewers were to write down their value and how we can add that value to the marketplace, do you feel like we'd be more prepared? Do you feel like we could come into this time with more opportunity? What are your thoughts in terms of how to find one's worth and how to create value for the marketplace?
I cannot predict what's going to happen, but our financial system will be different because we cannot currently hold on to the debt we created
Yeah.
globally. So there will be some kind of new system in coming in the next 5 years or so. But when the new currency comes in, we still circulate the new money was probably digitally, right? So when that happens, uh, you will be living. People will be just living. So I'm teaching people how to turn your visible asset into invisible asset. For example, instead of having $10,000 in your savings, you can say you can treat 1,000 people for lunch, and then just buy them $10 lunch. So that's $10,000, right? So, and then 1,000 people will just remember you as a good person. So if you did that, maybe $10,000 in your bank account doesn't worth much in the next currency. But if you have people's connection with 1,000 people, that may be worth more. So, for example, what I'm doing right now is for a Christmas gift and New Year's. Sorry, it's in Japanese only, but I have this book in Japanese. What I want you to know about money, six teachings. It's selling like crazy in Japan. So I'm just giving away 8,888 books.
Nice.
Whoever wants a copy. Sorry, it's in Japanese, and then whoever wants a copy, I give it to you. It's a campaign I'm doing. And so I'm giving, it's going to cost me about $200,000. But it's okay because $2,000 in visible asset right now. But people remember Ken Honda as a good person, whoever gets a copy, right? So I have a good connection with 8,888 people. So in 5 years, I don't need them to just pay me back anything. But in the next 5 years or so, when the new economy comes, if they remember Ken Honda, and if my new book comes out in a new currency, people might buy, and then I get the money back. So instead of just saving and investing in real estate and others, yeah, I think you should invest in a better customer relationship. Take out your friends for dinner and spend your money that way, or just learn something so it won't be taken away from you. So
Oh,
if you
I
have,
love this.
yeah, if you have some money, it may not help you as much. So just you might as well spend it in a more creative way.
Beautiful. And we know that one of the worst investments, we say cash is king, but one of the worst investments, at least in the last, say, 5 years, has been keeping your money in the bank. Because of the printing and the quantitative easing, the value of the so-called asset, the fiat dollar, has just been going down and down and down. Which I'd like to segue into the next question. Nixon took the gold standard off the dollar in 1971. And then before this, we had intrinsic value. The fiat dollar, the currency, had value because it had its equal asset in gold. It was tied or connected to gold, and so you could exchange it. Now, Nixon broke the promise, took the gold standard off the dollar, and as such, with the Federal Reserve in America, which, is a privately owned entity, have been printing and printing and printing and devaluating the currency over and over again. So I want your thoughts on these two things here. Silver and gold as precious metals. What are your thoughts in terms of assets, diversifying and gold and silver in general, or precious metals in general, as compared to a fiat currency?
So I prefer real gold and real silver. My mentor Wahed Takeda built a gold museum on its own because he believes in gold. So he bought a ton of gold personally, and then he made medals for his almost like a hobby. And then just he was selling his gold coins. And I have a good collection of Wahei's coin with me. And I have personally, I have so much gold already. So if you don't have much cash, I think having silver coins could be a choice if you want to hold on to a visible asset, because it's tangible. But the point is that even if it's valued, the value will go up. But if your government wants to tax you when you are going to sell the gold coins, you could get taxed half of what it's worth. So that means all the appreciation could be taken away from the government. In fact, in 1930s, you can Google, U.S. banned the general public to own a gold. So that means they had to just give out their gold. So it's almost like they confiscated gold.
Yeah.
Having gold something as an individual was a crime one point. So they can do that, especially in North America. I don't think they can do it in Japan. But if you're a U.S. citizen, for example, having lots of gold coin in your safe, it may not be the answer. So I'd still recommend having gold and silver coins are great, but it can be taxed. So you have to think of the tax. Even if you have real estate and cryptocurrency, you could be taxed because it may not be as anonymous as you think.
Yes, makes sense. And in this instance, I think, looking at precious metals, what do you think? They're going to go up in value, down in value, retain their value? What are your thoughts? I know, not again, financial advice, but, for me, based on my studies, it seems that both gold and silver, the actual asset itself has been suppressed for a very long time. It's kind of like, what is it, $35 US an ounce? Probably less. I think that's Australian dollars, actually. What are your thoughts on precious metals and their values into the future?
So if cash loses its value, so comparatively, I think the value of gold and silver could go high. I think it's always good to have tangible assets in that sense. So I recommend people to keep those, not just only cash. But once again, I'm just telling you that invisible asset would be more important than visible asset. So having some for just your peace of mind is great, but it may not be the magical sword, to protect you. Because having a peace of mind could be your protection, but having little gadgets may not.
Yeah, I love it. I love holding a little gold coin in my hand and just feeling the abundance while I'm working and so on and so forth. It's a bit of a little hack for me.
Yes, it's
Just
a
quick,
lucky charm, right?
lucky charm, exactly. And just for the fun of it, and for the feeling of it, for the happiness of it, for the gratitude of it. You mentioned there will be a change of the economy, and I know we've only got a little bit left of time together, so I want to really get some pick your brain a little bit more, if I may. And this change of the economy in terms of the money will not be the same in the future. It seems the fiat currency, the old outdated way of doing money, is gone. Web 2 is too slow. Web 3 is coming. Blockchain technology. We've heard a lot lately, for those who have been paying attention, about the government rollouts of central bank digital currencies versus blockchain or crypto technologies, I should say. What are your thoughts of central bank digital currencies, and what to potentially keep an eye on or be aware of?
Sorry, can you repeat the last sentence?
Absolutely, no problems. So my question is, what are your thoughts on the new economy that's coming in terms of the type of money? Because as I said, the fiat currencies seems to be dying out, and then new economy is coming. We have the central bank digital currencies rolled out by countries around the world. A lot of people are very skeptical of this based on their control and the data sharing, etc. What are your thoughts on central bank digital currencies, and let's say the future of the economy?
So I think, of course there will be money and also digital. And but people will pay less attention to the money by itself. Because if an alien just flies over with a and then just figures out what we're doing, they would wonder why just this people on the planet are so preoccupied with this yellow coin, yellow stones, and then they're stuck with the numbers. We used to be like that with pepper and salt, remember, in like, 1300, 1400. And the tea was just such a precious commodity. That was the trigger of American Revolution in 70, 70, some 70, 70s. So it used to be tea, salt, and pepper, and now the money. So right now, not many people know how much gallons, how many liters we spend every month. And then people don't know how much it costs to flush the toilet because it's so less. People think it's irrelevant. By the way, when you flush the toilet, it usually costs about a cent, 1 cent in Western world. And then since it's tiny, your parents probably didn't tell you don't flush your toilet, because it's going to be expensive. They probably talk about with lights, but not the toilet. So that means when the technology around fuel and electricity is solved, and the food consumption, production and consumption are in good hands, I think we will not worry so much about survival. So in a few years, there will be a technology for a better source of electricity and fuel, and also the food production. And then human being will finally find peace of mind for survival. That being said, I think people will lose interest in money. And we will wonder why people in 20th century and the early 21st century, people are so preoccupied with crypto or, just paper or gold coins and silver coins. There are so many more important things about life, and so much energy is being wasted around making money, protecting money, and all that. Like, for example, if you work in a Wall Street, you're just dealing with numbers and all that, and then your life will just be spent that way. But life can be full of memories. So it's not just think about it. If your job is sitting in front of a slot machine and all you have to do is just keep pressing the bar, and then if you spend 40 years doing it, you may make a lot of money and you end up living in a big house. But if you just spend your life force energy that way, is that what you really, really, really want to do? There is so many great activities out there. So I think we'll lose interest in money by itself. So if you have enough money in your bank account, what would you do is my question, instead of what preserves more value. And the whole concept of investing and protecting value is based on survival and also like wanting more and more and more. So don't get stuck in wanting more hell because it could never end.
This is very powerful. I love how we can have a conscious conversation about money. And several times, Ken, I've heard you come back to relationships, to what makes you happy, to living a beautiful life, and so on and so forth, to investing in the non-tangible or non-visible assets. I think this is really, really key because at the end of life, well, who knows? You'll look back and maybe one day you'll ask, what was that all about? And why on earth would we want to waste time? You can make money back. Sometimes you can even get health back, but you can never get time back. And so what does that mean as an asset? Is really taking care of whatever it means for you to live an extraordinary life. This is really beautiful. I love that we can land it there. And I got one last question for you at the end, sir, if I may.
Yes.
All right, here's the question. I want you to imagine now you're on the world stage. Everyone, billions of people have come to watch Ken Honda sharing his message to the world. Whenever you're ready, take a breath if you need, and then share what is your message to the world right now, Ken.
Okay. So life is for fun. Life is made for enjoying, not for suffering. So we might as well enjoy our time.
Wonderful. Oh man, I'm smiling from ear to ear. That's perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a privilege to have spent this time with you. I want to say again, Ken, thank you so much for your time. Before
Thank
we
you.
wrap up, take this moment, guys. Happy Money. Look it up. The book Happy Money, the Japanese art of making peace with your money, audiobook, ebook. Check out Ken Honda on Facebook, Ken Honda Happy Money. Also, and on Instagram, Happy Ken Honda, and so on and so forth. It's kenhonda.com if you want to look up the website. And I want to say thank you again. Is there anything else you want to share before we start wrapping up, Ken?
Thank you. This has been my dream doing this in English. I feel so scared to do it, but now I'm enjoying it. So I'm going to do more in English speaking world. So if you want to know more about what I'm doing, please visit kenhonda.com. You can find all the information there. You can find out who your money types are. You know, are you a spender? Are you a money maker or money warrior? We couldn't touch that. So that kind of thing you can figure out. It's lots of free information there, and then you can join my Arigato Living community. It's an international community of studying about happy money together. I teach there once a month.
That's a great asset and investment in itself. Ladies and gentlemen, go to the website, check it out. Definitely get the book Happy Money. And if this has served you in any way, shape, or form, please right now go and share this interview with as many people as you can. You just don't know how far that will go helping others as well. Thank you so much, Ken. We are so grateful for your time. We'd love to have you on again in the future. And when you come to Australia, please let us know, mate.
Thank you so much and have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.